Welcome to the Daily Dharma, a gentle podcast where we read a philosophical story every week and reflect on how it relates to everyday life. Our focus is to use Buddhist philosophy to understand the complexity of modern life and find achievable and accessible pathways to peace and happiness. Hi everyone, welcome to the Daily Dharma. In this episode, we'll be talking about learning to sit with our own pain. And the story that we'll be reflecting on this theme is called Living in the Myamunt, and it comes from the book Zen Stories with Master Seiji by Daiki Shimada. Here is how the story goes. On a bright sunny day, Master Seiji was found reclining in his backyard, savoring the peacefulness of the afternoon, with a glass of cold barley tea by his side. The gentle rustle of the garden leaves, accompanied by the distant sounds of the bustling town, provided a perfect backdrop for his leisure. A group of teenagers, curious and eager, approached Seiji, drawn by tales of his wisdom and the serene aura that seemed to envelop him. Master Seiji, they asked, their youthful energy apparent. Can you tell us what Zen is? Without a word, Seiji gestured towards a group of cats scattered around the garden. Some were napping in the warm patches of sunlight. Others were lazily stretching or playfully chasing leaves stirred up by the breeze. Just watch, he suggested, handing each teenager a glass of cold barley tea. The teenagers settled down, their initial restlessness giving way to a quiet fascination as they observed the cats. The felines, utterly absorbed in their immediate experiences, offered a live tableau of Zen in action. Some teenagers tried to mimic the cats, finding spots to lie down, while others gently played or stroked the fur of the cats that wandered nearby. As the sun began to dip, casting long shadows across the garden, the teenagers looked to Seiji, slightly bewildered. Well, Master Seiji, we watched the cats, played with them, even tried to nap. But what was the lesson? What is Zen? Seiji smiled, his eyes reflecting the waning sunlight. Zen is like the cats you observed, living fully in the moment, whether they're sleeping, playing, or simply sitting. Zen is the practice of being fully present in everyday moments. It's about experiencing life as it unfolds, just like the cats, without judgment, without clinging to the past or worrying about the future. The group of teenagers exchanged looks, a mix of understanding and wonder dawning on their faces. The day spent in Seiji's garden, observing the cats and embracing the simplicity of being, had offered them a glimpse into Zen, a lesson in mindfulness and presence delivered not through words, but through the quiet joy of shared moments with cats. This is a very sweet story, simply because I also too have a cat that I'm very, very close to. And in moments of great turmoil, when I look at her just sleeping peacefully on the couch, it brings me great peace to know that she's sleeping soundly, even when I feel like I have a lot of pain inside of me. And though the story is very cute and sweet, it definitely goes to show how powerful just having a peaceful animal like a cat or a dog, any kind of pet, or even just a calm person around you, how powerful that is as a protective factor when we're feeling unstable and shaky about our lives. And this is very much in line with how we practice to move through life, even with great pain. We can't simply try to deal with the world on our own. Sometimes we do have to look towards others, other animals, other people, even plants. Sometimes I just look at enormous trees and I marvel in their stability and their beauty. And there's a tangible energy that you can get from other beings when you simply pay attention to them and you focus on them instead of yourself. And all of this is to say that when we are able to get just a little bit of calm, a little bit of peace from others, it allows us to come back into our bodies eventually. And that's when we have the energy to really face our pain. Lately, I've been thinking and learning a lot about how the brain and how we as people process pain. And the truth is, nobody teaches us how to process our pain. We're almost certainly expected to deal with it and to figure it out. And if the pain becomes too much, well then, we become the problem. And this way of looking at pain has led to so much shame and anxiety and stress in people. Because for a lot of us, it takes a lifetime before someone finally looks at us and says, "You're not the problem. Even your pain is not the problem. It's simply how you're treating it and looking at it. Pain is simply a part of life, and we can't avoid it. But we do have control in how we treat pain within ourselves." And that's exactly what I've been telling myself in light of some small but just difficult events. I've been telling myself, you can't run away or deny the pain. You could just make room for it and let it sit there for as long as it needs. And slowly, with time and with processing, the pain will subside. It will fade. But you can't simply expect it to disappear. You can't simply expect yourself to get over the pain and for it to go away. And this way of thinking about pain is deeply embedded in society, in how our friends, our family, and media talk about pain. And that is deeply harmful because pain is a part of everyone's life. And learning to sit with this pain, to be kind and compassionate and understanding of our own pain, is, I believe, a very important milestone in our journey as people on this planet. And it is only when we have the patience and the courage to really face and be kind to our own pain, that we can even give a little bit of that to other people's pain. And that's the thing. Pain is not an enjoyable experience. It is not something that I wish upon anyone. But in slowing my life down to accommodate and speak to and be kind to the pain, I allow myself to practice mindfulness in a way that is deeply healing and calming. Because so much of our lives is just pushing and pushing and pushing to keep going. But the pain is a reason to sometimes slow down, give yourself a moment to reflect, to process, to think about where did it come from? How is it affecting you? And how can you allow yourself to simply sit with it instead of layering more shame or anxiety or guilt on top of your existing pain? It is one of the most difficult things to do in life, but when we approach pain with more openness and understanding and realize that this is an essential part of our journey as people, it becomes a little bit easier to simply sit with our pain and as a result become more calm and more in line with the present moment. Thank you for listening to this episode, and thank you to everyone who has sent in replies and emails, and I do love hearing all of it, and I really appreciate it. And of course, this is my feeling in every episode, but even when the world is dark, may you be the light that makes other people smile and more hopeful in the world, and may yourself be the light for you. Thank you very much for listening again. And if you have any thoughts you'd like to share, please email me anytime at dailydharmapodcast@gmail.com. May you have a beautiful, safe, and joyful week ahead of you. Until next week.